Welcome back, guys, to another roundtable. My name is Adam. I have Rusmin.
Hello.
And Victor.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about AI stocks. So, ChatGPT has been the talk of the town.
Yep.
I've been using it myself. Very, very useful. And I think recently, a lot of AI stocks, something with AI in the name, have gone up tremendously in price.
Yep.
So, we're going to have a look at that at this roundtable, whether, whether we should look at them, whether this price gain is sustainable.
Yep.
But from what I've seen in the headlines, they've jumped like 2 times, 3 times.
Correct. Minimum 2 times.
Minimum 2 times. Okay, so what are some of the names that have come up?
Yeah, so you've got this company called C3.ai. I think the share price actually tanked since the IPO. Then in January, they announced the partnership with OpenAI to incorporate their their AI into their software.
Okay.
And the share price just went up 77% in January. And year to date is like 102%.
Okay.
Then you have Somehow AI, as long as there's an AI name. It went up 204% year to date.
Okay.
Yeah. And BigBear.ai.
Okay.
370% year to date. Right. So as long as you got AI, your stocks are going up.
Yeah.
By the way, year to date may sound like very long. It's only we are just 2 months.
Yeah.
Just 2 months ago.
About 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I should change my name to .ai, and then the net worth will go up as well. Just like that. But yeah, it's crazy. So it's like just something there's the hype, there's the talk of the town.
Yeah.
And we've seen this so many times, right?
Yes,
then
correct.
the hype just comes and the stock prices just go to the moon and people jump in. It's like a bandwagon that they jump in. And look at 300% within 2 months. Is this sustainable?
Generally, I think such companies are not sustainable, right? Because I think this is where the trend going and everybody's rushing into it, right? It does not make sense when you can make money when everyone is rushing into it. There's a hype, but eventually the musical chair going to stop, right? And just go. So if you look into the past history, like your .com, your Bitcoin, your EVs, right? They also have been through these cycles before where it hypes, then after it goes down, right? There's this thing what I call on the internet, it's called the Gartner hype cycles, right? So first is where there's an innovation trigger point, right? So the expectation of the innovation people will hit, then you'll go all the way up because people are expecting the innovation is doing very well. So as example right now, right, people are expecting that the artificial intelligence is going to be the next trend or wave and all this.
It's going to change the world.
Yes, correct.
Right?
All right. So after that, then it will peak, right? The expectation will peak. And the second phase is called the peak of inflated expectation. And that's where they start to peak and they start to go down. So right now, if you look at Bitcoin and NFT, let's say example, Gartner, they put that NFT is sloping down from the peak of inflated expectation. Then after the third phase is what I call the trough of de-illusionment. Right? That's where people say, okay, this thing does not work anymore. And that's where after that it start to pick up.
So that's when the real world applications really take off.
So if you go back to the .com, it's the same thing, right? At the point of time during the .com, everything that is .com, the share price just shoot up like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Then after that, when the .com busts, those that really not making money just disappear. And people just give up on tech stocks. But after that, since then, the tech stocks start to just grow. Those that survive really survive to date.
Yeah, like
right?
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah. But Amazon was around during the .com.
And they also was hyped up, even though they are making cash flow at the point of time. Right? If you go back to the Amazon, I think they went up from like $1, $6 or $7. They went all the way up to $100 just within a year.
Okay.
$100 or $120. Then they just crashed back to $6 and $7 the following year.
Yeah, it's painful. I mean, even then, if you bought it at $100, you still be making a lot of money today.
Pretty much
it's one of the few. Yeah,
pretty much sounds like those that we have gone through in 2021. A lot of high growth stock actually collapsed by 80-90%.
Okay, because there was a hype behind the pandemic. Boom, right?
And there were a lot of easy money chasing after all these hot stocks.
Yeah, so I think you got an example of
I
remember
you bring up the .com. I was mentioning it to you guys. I remember pets.com because 2000, I was pretty, the news was, I was listening to news at that point in time. I think I was about 20 years old, I think. Like 18 years old. Then I remember pets.com. It was hyped up and I think it IPO'd at $11 per share. And then when it went bankrupt, it was liquidated at 22 cents per share.
Wow, that's crazy.
But it was like when it was out there, it was like revolutionary. It was how you could buy stuff online, get it delivered to you. But it was a bit too early. I think Amazon was one of the few that actually went through the cycle, survived, and actually we see our habits change and actually buy stuff online much later on, and then maybe cement during the pandemic. Now it's like whatever, it's totally normal. But yeah, pets.com, that was something I remembered.
Yeah, so I think most companies or maybe we have to be very careful when when not right now if you look at any AI companies, right? Because there was many cases during example the previous hype, right? Let's say your Bitcoin hype. So in the US there was this company called Long Island Iced Tea. So basically they are a beverage business, right? They're selling iced tea and all this. So what happened is the management decided to change their name into Long Island Blockchain, and they say they're going to incorporate blockchain into their so-called beverage business, right?
Into the tea.
Yeah, and the share price just shot up like I think 380% and all this.
Okay.
Right? I think that was like in 2017. Then 2018, I think the company got delisted from Nasdaq, and I think 2021 SEC actually founded that the founders, the three major investor in the Long Island blockchain, right, actually caught of like insider trading, illegal insider trading. So they pump up the stock by changing it to blockchain, and then sold it, right? Yeah. So we have to be careful. That was the case of like during the pandemic, right? Zoom was so popular, but people bought into the investor bought into the wrong Zoom.
Okay, that was a different Zoom.
Right? Yeah, that was different Zoom. Right? It was like crazy, and that stock just ran up, right, without checking whether all this.
Even for the latest ChatGPT saga, I mean, there was this company called BuzzFeed. They actually announced that they're going to use ChatGPT's technology to write articles, contents, without any human, right? And then the share price just almost quadrupled.
Yeah. And it works. ChatGPT can write pretty good articles actually.
Yeah.
If you direct it properly. Yeah.
I mean, if they can do that, other people can use the same technology.
True.
Which again, I don't know why, but the share price has just gone up. But of course, today it's dropped, but still twice the amount that before the announcement.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So I think it's not only this, like the EV, right? Yep. At one point of time, the EV was like crazy. Everybody was looking at the electric vehicles, like it's going to dominate the world, right? But right now, it's like sort of like everybody's catching up already. Even the competitors are catching up. Not a lot of people are talking about EV right now, right? So at the point of time, there was this company called Nikola. Yeah. Right. The share price actually went up, and when you look at their revenue, people value them based on pre-revenue. Yeah, the revenue is less than 1 million. It's like 400,000, 100,000.
And they were valuing it at billions, right?
It's crazy, the revenue, right? But in the end, the founder caught of fraud, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that was what happened. But I remember one of the trailers where they had this electric truck.
Yeah.
Moving down. Really nice, really beautiful. But it had no engine or something. It was just rolling downhill. But they shot it like it was like just driving.
I think I read somewhere it's like the truck is actually plugged into a switch or something to provide the electricity. Actually they can't store anything.
I think people need to make a distinction between technologies that can change the world and their expectations. I actually think yes, EVs will change the world. I think AI will change the world. But I think this initial hype, like this hype cycle that you brought up, I think that's a great example of how people think about new things, and they think it's going to change the world. And then they go through that, and then they realize it's not that, immediate. Yeah. But it will happen eventually, and then it just becomes reality. Yeah. So we went through that with the internet because they didn't know how, like pets.com. I don't know. I don't know what its revenue was at that point in time, but because they didn't know how the internet was going to change business models around the world. They didn't know how to value it, so they just valued it to the moon, and it just went up so high. Yeah. So that was it. So like Nikola wasn't making money. So all these AI stocks, that you brought up, .ai, can't even remember the names now. Are they making money?
Yeah. So if you look at C3.ai, BigBear.ai, somehow there's no somehow AI, right? They are all still making operating profits. Their EBITs are still negative.
Yeah, operating losses actually.
They're still making operating losses. Yeah, still negative. Yeah.
So if you look at the Big Bear, I think they are making about 150 million for the year 2021. Okay, and Sunhound they just got listed only, right? So I only have their 9-month result. I think they only like making 20 millions, and the operating losses is actually 3 of them. I think each one of them are losing more than 50, 60, 70 millions.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think AI is very good for the future, right? But right now I think people still don't know how do you make money out of it, right? So if you look at OpenAI, they are funded by, I think they recently received fund from Microsoft, right? Yep. But then they still do not have a revenue generating model. So recently they came out with the subscription, right? And how many people subscribe, we still don't know, even though they got so many users. I mean, I look at it, I'm not eager to subscribe.
I can share it with you.
Yeah, I'm not eager to subscribe into their thing. Right. I mean, the only advantage about that thing is, I think you get access to about a lot of new things, and you do not have downtime.
Yeah.
Right. So right now, if you use the free version, right, some days you cannot use.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's down. Right.
No, because you don't have priority usage. And
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm okay to wait.
Okay.
Right. So it's okay. Yeah.
I'm still finding myself using a lot of Google stuff.
Okay.
I've not been using ChatGPT. Yeah. Because I still don't trust the answer. Okay. Based on what I've read, there's still a lot of errors that they're giving out in terms of answer. Yeah. So probably next few years, when things are more stable, I will get back to ChatGPT again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I find it pretty useful actually. So, well, maybe I might use it. I don't know. But so like you were saying, these companies, they were not profitable.
Yeah, correct.
Nicola was pre-revenue and stuff. So these AI companies, the same.
Yep.
The same thing happening again. So I guess you wouldn't touch these kind of stocks. This is not the way we invest.
Yes,
right?
correct.
No, I think these are companies that I'll label them as startups. So when you invest in startup, it's almost like a VC, and you want to really spread across many ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And majority of them will fail.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to bet a big sums in these startup. Okay, so you want to really be careful, right? You don't want to be such a risk taker. Of course, if one you bet and then it turns out to be successful, you can make multiple folds of your initial return, right?
So I believe some of our viewers here, I believe you guys, maybe your emotion, you got the urge that you also want to ride on this trend and all this, right? But my take is that if you were to do it, it's not say that you cannot do it. You still can do it, but do it with the amount of money that you think you can lose, right?
Yeah.
Don't go in like, oh, my children's education, I throw it 100%. That's crazy. Right?
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's like buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah, correct. You just take it as if it breaks, it's the bonus, right? It breaks through, it's a bonus. If it's not, then it's okay. I just lose that small amount of money, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, the best way to take advantage of this AI stuff is that, and a lot of those big techs that we have been talking about, the FANGs, I mean, they have been using AIs in their technology, right? Look at Google. I mean, every Google Translate they use, they have been using AIs to help to improve the translation result. The same thing with the search engine. Okay, so there's really nothing new except that now we have this very clever smart bot that can reply to you based on what you want. Okay, so the best way, again, like I said, is to really just look at what we have. And ChatGPT, the biggest investor is actually Microsoft, right? So if you really think that ChatGPT is going to be successful, then Microsoft is going to be the big beneficiary out of it. Yeah,
Because of the alliance with Bing, right?
Yes, yeah, and of course there are other players that provides AI's tools, and this AIs, which is what they call it, generative AIs, requires a lot of computing powers. So that will requires a lot of GPU, and when it comes to GPU, we all cannot forget that Nvidia is a big player in the market. Okay, so these players, of course, during the gold rush, the guy who make the most money is the guy that's selling the shovel.
Yeah.
So so same thing, right? So Nvidia is providing all this chip. But the same thing when what happened to the crypto rush, right? Nvidia makes so much money, right? Of course, after that there's a excess capacity issue.
So the key is don't buy the gold, buy the shovels.
I mean, sell the shovels.
Don't
dig for gold, sell the shovels.
Yeah, and of course there are also if you are in the data center, okay, that also there's going to be in high demand moving forward. Okay, so basically cloud computing is something that I think with the usage of VR and especially generative AIs, that requires a lot of computing resources. That requires a lot of cloud computing power. So any big cloud players, again, it's going to end up with your Amazon and your Microsoft, and of course Google, right? They are the biggest player in the cloud market.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if you still want to jump onto this bandwagon, there are safer ways to do so.
Yeah.
They make more sense. Like just basically Google has their own AI technology, Microsoft, AI as well, and of course all those adjacent industries that power this AI revolution. So like Nvidia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If not, you can look at ETF.
ETFs.
Right? There's some ETF that they bundle up every all those like companies that we talk about is also inside, and also they also bundle up some profitable companies. But they sort of like robotics and artificial intelligence. So they mix a lot mix around with a lot of different other
Yeah.
products. So you know that at the end of the day, it won't go bust to zero, right? Because it still have other stocks inside, and they own about 100 plus. Right?
I think it's more diversified, but
Yeah.
I think when it comes to ETFs, you still have to look at the components
Yes, correct.
and see how that ETF is comprised. Because if it's
Yes.
comprised of
All the loss making.
all
yeah.
the startups, or
Yeah.
you say startups,
Yeah.
it is still a risky ETF
Yes,
in that
correct.
sense.
Yeah.
But if it's bundled with Microsoft, Google,
Yeah.
Amazon,
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on your profile. Some people like to take the risk. They
Yeah.
understand what they're getting into. They want
Yeah.
to jump in and then get out with a quick profit. If they're good enough to do that,
Yeah.
by all means.
Yeah.
But if you're not and you go in blind thinking that maybe I can make 100, 200% investing in this, and you have that expectation,
Yeah.
but sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And we've seen it so many times with people losing money in crypto, people
Yeah.
losing money in EVs, people
Yeah.
losing money in the growth stocks during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
I think
Yeah.
they lose money because they didn't get out in time.
Because
right?
they don't know
and they
what.
buy at the peak.
Yeah.
Right, they buy at the peak price. So you when you buy into all these kind of hype
Mhm.
products, right, you must know that you have to get out soon.
Yeah.
Right, you have to set a limit for yourself, regardless whether after you sell already. A lot of people is after they sell, the share price just keep going up,
And
and they
then
say,
go in
"Oh, why
again."
should I sell?" Then they went back in. After the thing went
It
crashing
happens,
down.
yeah, it
and
happens, yeah.
Yeah. So just be very clear and objective that you set, and don't break that rule, Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, I mean, AI is very exciting for me. I read an article. I think, do you know this blog, waitbutwhy.com?
No.
He's one of the best. And he had an article about artificial intelligence many years ago. And I read that. It was a very long read. But basically, what I learned from that is that the AI revolution will come in, exponential advancements. So it goes like that, and you see there's really no change to that. And you think that AI is so far away, and then suddenly it just grows exponentially. And then just boom, suddenly it's like you have,
just like internet.
like the internet maybe.
Yeah.
It's like
Just
suddenly
like investing, just compound its way.
it compounds its
upwards,
way.
yeah.
Suddenly, we really do have artificial intelligence, and it becomes really powerful. Maybe I'll share that in the description, because I really enjoyed the article about AI. Yeah, so I mean, now that ChatGPT has kind of like put this into the mainstream, and people are like jumping onto the bandwagon when it comes to investing, we thought it'd be a good time to do this roundtable to kind of like just cover that.
Yep.
Yeah, and not just jump in blindly.
Don't
Yep.
invest in hypes.
Don't invest in hype, because
Yeah.
unless you're so good at it, you know when to get in and out. But it's not the way we do things, because that's not our interest.
Yeah.
And we like something that's, I guess,
More fundamental.
more fundamentally
Yeah.
based. Yeah. So I mean, look at your Google and Microsoft and all that if you want to. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I think this is a pretty good wrap up for this roundtable and about AI and how you can invest in if you want to jump onto the bandwagon. This is our views on it. Hope it was really, really useful. So my name is Adam Rusmin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you like this roundtable, please hit the like button. Any questions, comments, put them in the comment section. Anything else you want us to go do research on and find out more about and do it on another roundtable, put them as a suggestion in the comments as well. We have a look at that. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables coming up, and we'd love to keep in touch with you.